you ever noticed how people change when you give them a little power? The polite teacher who suddenly snaps at a student. The quiet guy at work who becomes a tyrant the moment he's promoted. Why do normal people become cruel when given control over others? Is it power that corrupts? Or is it that power simply reveals who we've been all along? In 1971, a group of psychologists at Stanford University decided to test this. What they found shocked the world. This is the story of the Stanford Prison Experiment, where a fake prison turned into a real psychological nightmare. It started as a social experiment. Dr. Philip Zimbardo wanted to understand how people adapt to roles of power and submission. He put out a simple newspaper ad. Volunteers needed for a study of prison life. $15 per day. 24 healthy college students were chosen. Randomly split into two groups, guards and prisoners. A mock prison was built in the basement of Stanford's psychology department. The rules were minimal. No violence. Maintain order. Observe. What unfolded was not a simulation. It became disturbingly real. The experiment began with a real-life police arrest. The prisoners were taken from their homes, blindfolded, fingerprinted, processed like real criminals. They were stripped, given smocks, ID numbers, and locked in cells. The guards were given uniforms, batons, sunglasses, and complete control. Within hours, the roles took over. The guards quickly became authoritarian. They invented punishments like push-ups, isolation, humiliation. Some laughed as prisoners begged for food or a bathroom break. By day 2, prisoners began to rebel.
Very sharp change in the whole nature of what was happening in that prison. The prisoners, attempting to assert their freedom, their individuality, rebelled. And we had an open rebellion. What constituted that rebellion? They refused to eat. They barricaded themselves in their cells. They started ripping off their numbers, took off the stocking caps, started screaming out obscenities at the guards. And the guards are frightened.
The guards responded with force, using fire extinguishers, stripping them naked, depriving them of sleep. Psychological torture had replaced the experiment. One prisoner, identified as number 8612, began showing signs of emotional collapse. He screamed, cried, and eventually had to be removed. Zimbardo? He let it continue.
8612, against the wall. You. Against the wall, you. Life can be very difficult, or it can be a lot easier. Like, if I gotta be in here, I'm not gonna put up with it.
By day 4, more prisoners broke down. What was meant to be a 2-week study started looking like real psychological warfare. It was Zimbardo's girlfriend, a fellow psychologist, who saw what was happening and told him, "What you're doing is terrible." Only then, on day 6, did he shut it down. When we think of evil, we imagine villains. People who are broken or twisted or simply born bad. But what if that's not how it works? What if the system, the uniform, the label, is all it takes to turn an average person into a monster? The Stanford Prison Experiment didn't just expose how power corrupts. It showed that the line between good and evil runs through all of us. And sometimes the only thing keeping that line in check is the fact that we haven't been handed the power yet. Want more stories that unravel the human mind and history's hidden experiments? Subscribe to Crumbs.